haven't you started that business that you wanted to start? This is the message for all my humanitarians who are thinking about business, who are feeling like I'm so fed up with applications, I'm so fed up with this sector, I'm so fed up with that sector. I just want to be doing my own thing. I want to be owner. I want to have ownership. Whatever the desires that you're having, and if you haven't started your business, then this one is for you. Because I've been coaching today. In fact, I coached 3 people. I had a quite busy day today. I had about 8 coaching sessions, and out of 8 coaching sessions, I had 3 coaching sessions only about why people haven't started their business. So usually when my amazing humanitarians have ideas about starting a business, they then stall themselves or stop themselves by saying these things to themselves. They say, it won't work. I talked to several people and they told me that they don't need this. I don't want to be doing solutions for the sake of solutions. I need a real problem. I am scared and it's too risky and I don't know how to deal with that risk. I'm not ready. I need to study a lot. I need to work on my website a lot. I need to do this and that, whatever it is, or the market is saturated, right? Whatever it is that they keep telling themselves why they can't start that business. But the real reason why you haven't started it is because you are very afraid and your fear is coming up with a lot of excuses, a lot of explanations, a lot of reasons, a lot of delays as to why you haven't started it, right? So I will just give you several examples of people, the humanitarians that I was coaching, on what kind of businesses they would like to start or they have thought about starting, but they have never allowed themselves to actually go for it. And the one of them is actually now starting, and he's starting animal and agriculture business, which I'm so proud of. So, and he was also telling me that the only reason I didn't start, and literally in the coaching that we had, he was telling me, do you think it's a good idea or do you approve that I can start, kind of a conversation, right? And I was telling him, why do you need my approval, right? So what is the problem and are you willing to solve that problem? And if you are willing to solve that problem, then go for it, right? So one of them was this animals and agriculture. Another client of mine wanted to start a clothing recycling business. Another client wanted to start business development business. Whatever the business that you have been thinking about and thinking about starting, and that you feel like, okay, you could really work on it and figure out things along the way, then the reason why you keep delaying it, why you keep postponing or feeling like you are not ready, is because that's what fear does. Fear always comes up with reasons why we can't do XYZ. Or worse, some of my clients tell me that, well, the market does not really need my services or my business idea. And I was asking her, what does that mean? How many people in the market told you that they don't need your service? And she was like, I talked to a couple of friends, but that's the thing, is that we can't test anything by talking to a couple of friends. So if you're serious about the business, whatever that business is, then you need to start asking yourself, are you willing to commit to solving the problems along the way? So I keep talking more and more lately about how, whichever the direction we go, we will be solving problems. If we go to the humanitarian sector, we need to be solving problems of networking, of selling our expertise in the job interviews, competing with so many other people, and getting to a job that we may and may not like, right? So these are the problems we need to be solving, and obviously rejections. If we go to the private sector, the same problems we'll be solving. And if we go and start our business, the same problems we'll be solving. So if you had that idea that you want to do that business, whatever that business idea is, the only way we know if that business idea works is by looking at whether there are other similar businesses. excuse me, or if you have actually tested it in practice and gathered the data. That's it. So therefore, the like the problem is, I think, not like a lot of the times I have this feeling that the only way we get ready to start a business is if we study a lot. So we make it like a knowledge problem, or we make it like a skill problem. We don't have the skills of sales and skills of networking and all of this. And then we keep reading a lot of books and listening to podcasts about it. And don't get me wrong, I'm not suggesting don't do that. But I'm also suggesting for you to really look at, is this a knowledge problem, really? Is this a skill problem? Or it's an emotional problem, meaning that you are scared and you're not sure about it, therefore you're not starting. And oftentimes, majority of people I talk to, it's really the emotional problem. It's not the skill problem, because we don't have that skill yet for obvious reasons. We haven't started the business, so therefore we can't have the skill. If we were skillful at sales and doing business, we probably would have done it a long time ago. But skill comes from actually doing things. Knowledge is something that we may not know, but with the ChatGPT and whatever the resource you can find, millions of different ways of finding out. So it's not a knowledge problem, because we are good also at consuming things. And I personally, I'm also very good at consuming things. But again, consumption does not tell us whether this business is viable or not. Skill set may not tell us, because we don't have enough skill sets to begin with. So therefore, we need to actually start doing things to learn whether we can actually do that business or not, right? So therefore, the only way we can test is actually whether it's a product or a service. If it's a product, obviously we need to first develop the product and test it among the real users of that product. If it's a service, then we need to go and ask at least 50 to 100 people to understand if there is even a market for it, if let's say this is a brand new idea. Right? So you can see that no matter what reason we come up with as to how and why this will not work, we will not really be doing it based on the actual market. We're just speculating at that point in the beginning with our own fears, with our own assumptions, with our own ideas of why it won't work. And the danger that I see is that we are spending a lot of time. Some of the times when I talk to my clients, they tell me that they've been thinking about for years about this idea, for years about this business, and they haven't. So if you are someone who feels like you've been thinking about it for years and you haven't started it, start looking at why, like, what guarantee are you looking for to start the business? What guarantee, meaning what needs to happen for you to feel like, okay, now I may start? What is that thing, right? So I was asking this client who started his agriculture and animal business, I was telling him, what kind of guarantee are you looking for? And then he was telling me that the guarantee that it will work. And then I was asking him, who gives you that guarantee? Right? Who gives you that guarantee except yourself? That's the thing. You are the one who is giving yourself a guarantee. And in the beginning, you may not be able to give you a guarantee. But even more so, other people. Other people may not even give you anything, like not only guarantee, they don't know if you are able to pull this off. You are the only one who can know. And in the beginning, you may not know it either, and that's okay. But the only way we find out if that business is viable or not, if we commit to making it work and getting it off the ground first. We can't any other way find out. Because if we look at from like other people and how they're doing a similar business that we want to do, if they're doing and they're doing it well, even though they probably have experienced a lot of difficulties and hardship to do that, if they're still continuing and going for it, that means that it's doable, it's possible. So then why it shouldn't be possible for you? And the only reason why you would say it's not possible for you is because you are again explaining to yourself why and how you cannot do XYZ. But in business, whatever the thing that you cannot do, you believe, you need to be willing to figure things out. That's the only way it works. We can't just say, oh, this won't work and that's it. Right? Because if other people are figuring things out, that means that it's possible to figure things out. But also, I would like for you to approach it from the perspective of what if you grow through this rather than doing it as a I don't know, as a proof of how it won't work, right? Do you know what, like some of the times people do this where they just have this feeling of, I need to prove to everyone and to myself how this idea was a bad idea. And from the get go, you keep like complaining about it, you keep talking about how it didn't work and how you were right and how this and how that. Don't do that to yourself, right? Why would you do that to yourself? So if you're really serious about business, whatever that business that you have an idea of, then keep learning about it and keep wondering whether this will work or not. It will not help you find out the answers. So I was telling a client today who wanted to start her clothing recycling business, and I was telling her there are two ways of exploring, right? Because she was saying, oh, I need to explore more. And I asked her how long she's been exploring this, and she said more than a year, right? And I said, there are basically two ways to explore things. Excuse me. So one exploration is just keep thinking about it, right? Keep thinking about it, keep fantasizing about it, keep thinking about how great it would be and all of this thing. And the other is committed exploration. And committed exploration would be, excuse me, if we take her example, and let's say that she wants to go for a clothing recycling business. In her case, what she could do, then she could even go to work or study businesses who are doing clothing recycling. Maybe she can volunteer there. Maybe she can even work there. Or maybe she can even talk to people who are working there to find out more about how this business actually works. What are the difficulties? What are the great things? All of those things. That would be a committed way of exploration. That shows that you are serious about doing that business, right? Just like with the job opening that we would apply for, if we want to apply for a job, we need to be serious about what kind of job it is, what kind of organization it is, what kind of structures, what are kind of challenges, and how we can go and increase our chances. That's how we do it, right? We get committed about it. And the same goes for starting a business. We can't just keep exploring things and never come to a decision. So that's why if we're serious about starting a business, then knowing that whatever the fears and worries, they don't go away just because we keep thinking about them. They don't go away just because we keep talking to several friends who tell us, oh, don't even think about it, and then therefore we just kill the idea. They don't go away just because we're like reinforcing how we're not business people and how we don't have this, how we don't have that, and the third and the fifth, and how we don't have the guarantee and all of those things. The fear and worry will go away when we feel we have done the great job of doing and solving everything in the business and going to the other side of seeing some of the successes. And that's when maybe fear and worry will go away. So therefore, the real argument that maybe I can bring to those who are thinking about starting a business is that if you are really serious about it, meaning that you believe that this is something that you could really do and you could really see yourself doing for the long term in the nearest future, then you need to really start committing yourself to exploring what are the ways you can explore this in practice, meaning whether you work for the company who's already doing it or you start your own testing to find out how this or whether this works, or talk to people who are doing that business and talking to them and finding out more. That would be the way to explore committedly, or work with people who have done that type of job and then see how they're doing it and then you start doing it yourself, whichever the way, but you need to get committed to it essentially. And our fears and worries may not allow us to commit immediately. So, what we need to then do is we need to start understanding, okay, am I trying to solve the knowledge problem, meaning I need to know some things? Am I trying to solve the skill problem, which you may gain by either working with other companies who are doing that, or you can actually test and do your own business and learn the skills in the practice? Or are you trying to solve the emotional problem, which is fear disguised as a lot of questions? If the problem of emotions you are trying to solve, then by keep listening and keep agreeing with your fears, you will not solve anything. That's the important message that I would like for you to take out of this. So, therefore, if you can't just solve the fear by listening to it, by entertaining and wallowing in it, and I was even talking to a client today about how do you know the difference between wallowing and feeling the feeling? And you need to start understanding that fear does that. Fear makes us delay, question, worry, and keep assuming things without actually testing in practice if that works. And if you notice yourself doing that, then you need to understand that none of that will help you make a decision. So instead, you need to go into the action mode instead of sitting in the thinking mode, right? The action mode is testing things in real time with real people. And also not just testing it, maybe, I don't know, if you are testing your own uh, service with, let's say, 5 people, and then you're like, oh my God, 5 people said no, therefore it must not work, right? Especially if that business already exists and other people are doing it and you just gave up after 5 rejections. That just means that you haven't learned how to deal with rejections and you haven't learned how to learn from rejections. So that's why you need to start having your own plan as to, okay, if I want to start a business, these are the worries and fears that I will have. These are the ways that I will deal with them. These are the ways that I will committedly learn and start taking actions, making decisions. And these are the ways I find out if this business is viable or not. Okay, my dears. I really hope that this was a message for you to really look at, okay, what is it that I'm waiting for? Why am I waiting for? And most importantly, if I'm serious about it, then why not start now instead of just keep waiting for whatever the unknowns and then feeling like, okay, can someone please tell me if I'm doing it right? Even though I did that for a long time and I keep telling about how I kept feeling this, I don't know what I'm doing, and someone tell me what to do energy for almost a year, and then to realize, wait, I'm the one responsible for how to do my things. I can't get any guarantee from anyone. And most importantly, why am I even waiting for other people to guarantee me? Right? Why am I doing that? Why can't I rely on myself to test and find out the results for myself instead of just trying to abdicate the responsibility or trying to get someone else co-sign the responsibility or co-sign the risk, right? So that's why the risk is always with us, meaning whoever is starting the business, the risk is with them. So you are the only one who can deal with the risk. You are the only one who can guarantee or not even guarantee and start the business. You are the only one who can make a decision and move forward. No one else can do that for you. So knowing that, and also knowing how your fears will trick you into delaying and into asking questions that you can't answer, you know that what you are doing to yourself is just not starting that business that you could have otherwise started. So, my dears, if there is a way I can support you in your process of starting your business, then you should really start coaching with me. But because I feel like I can't get enough people to really hear me out, that whatever the questions are, we may not be like answering all of them or most of them. The only way we know how to do that is we can test and see in practice how that works, or learn from others who have been doing it. So if you haven't been thinking and wondering about this, then this is your message. Start testing it or exploring committedly with others who are doing this business and finding out how it's done, and then start your own if you decide to, or make a decision. Okay, my dear.